Hurricane Ian has weakened to a tropical storm, and it will make another landfall in South Carolina and the southeastern United States this weekend. We're also tracking a warm-up into the first and second week in October, where you can expect above normal temperatures and a drier than normal pattern in this video. Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates here on this channel. Looking here at the visible infrared satellite imagery here, you can definitely see Tropical Storm Ian moving east out of Florida, making a lot of impacts across Florida the last several hours through your Wednesday and into the early morning hours here on your Thursday. It's finally moving across portions of eastern Florida and moving eastward into the western Atlantic. And as it does so, it will continue to weaken back to tropical storm status and then eventually back under tropical storm status here to post-tropical depression status as we head into at least the next 48 to 60 hours here in the next couple of days. Looking at the overall track, this is the official track here from the National Hurricane Center. This is the cone of uncertainty, and it will move across portions of the western Atlantic briefly before making another landfall here across the Charleston, and maybe even up toward the Myrtle Beach area in South Carolina. As we head into the late afternoon and early evening hours on your Friday, we got widespread tropical storm warnings across portions of the southeast, including coastal Georgia for Savannah, Georgia, up through Charleston and Myrtle Beach, and even portions there of North Carolina as well, with some even tropical storm watches as far north as eastern, the Outer Banks of eastern North Carolina as we head into later on this week. So looking here at the storm surge, what's left of that, we have still some storm surge up to around 3 to 5 feet across western Florida, even 5 to 8 feet across portions of Fort Myers, Tampa Bay, and Naples, Florida as well. Across portions here of the Bend of Florida, getting back up here into Georgia, South Carolina towards the Charleston area, up toward Myrtle Beach, we could have 2 to 4 to even 3 to 5 foot storm surge as we head into the Friday and Saturday time frame with that onshore flow moving from east to west across these areas as we head into that time frame. So looking here at the estimated rainfall totals with this system, as it makes another landfall in South Carolina, most of the heavier rainfall will actually fall to the north and on the eastern side of the system, and that's where you can see the heaviest rains. In the yellows here, that's up to around 4 to 6 inches, and the orange shaded colors, especially into eastern South Carolina, eastern and northeastern North Carolina, and parts of eastern Virginia, we could very well be talking about 6 to upwards of 10 inches of rain over the next couple of days as we head in through the weekend. So definitely still some widespread flooding impacts with this system as we head into the next couple of days. And the reason for this here is, again, all that moisture with the system, and the Weather Prediction Center has gone ahead and actually placed a slight risk for excessive rainfall across portions of Charleston, South Carolina, into the Myrtle Beach area. And then you have a moderate risk for excessive rainfall down there toward Jacksonville, getting farther south there towards the Orlando area as we head through the rest of today. And as we head into your Friday time frame, we have a moderate risk for excessive rainfall across the Savannah, Georgia area, along coastal Georgia, getting into the Charleston, South Carolina area, and Myrtle Beach area as well. Maybe as far north as the capital city of South Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina, with that moderate risk for excessive rainfall, which is usually with widespread flash flooding in that area in the red, and even a larger area in the yellow as far west here as the eastern suburbs of the Atlanta metro, getting into eastern Georgia and all the way up into North Carolina toward the Raleigh area. We could be talking about some scattered flash flooding events as we head into your Friday. So let's track the remnants here of Tropical Storm Ian and the remnants of Hurricane Ian as we head through the rest of the day today. As we head into the mid and late afternoon hours, this will move offshore. The center of low pressure will move offshore. We might still have wraparound moisture across the Jacksonville Beach area, getting back down toward Orlando and Universal Studios here. But a 992 millibar low at that point, that will be a strong tropical storm. As we head into Friday, this will strengthen yet again as it moves over the warmer waters of the western Atlantic Ocean. We're going to see a little bit more strengthening, possibly back to a Category 1, maybe a Category 2 hurricane is definitely possible as a 974 millibar low re-strengthens here on the Icon model across portions of the Charleston, South Carolina area. and then getting up towards the Myrtle Beach area as well. We also have to watch it down here toward coastal Georgia. And as we get into Saturday here in the middle of the weekend, Saturday afternoon, that we'll start to see this weekend as it makes a double landfall again back onto South Carolina. It will weaken to post-tropical depression status by then, with some wraparound moisture across the Tennessee Valley there and the mid-Atlantic, with a large frontal zone across portions there of the western Atlantic as we head into late this weekend. Looking at the estimated rainfall totals again across the Carolinas, coastal Georgia, all the way up into the mid-Atlantic, widespread rainfall totals between 2 and 6 plus inches across those areas. The heaviest of the rainfall will be across the Outer Banks there of North Carolina into eastern South Carolina as well toward the Charleston and Myrtle Beach area. Some heavier rain can be found up there into portions of the Raleigh, North Carolina area, Columbia, South Carolina, a lot of areas affected through this weekend. But the big story will be the warm up across the middle of the country. We had some cool temperatures waking up here this morning into the middle and upper 30s across the north woods of Wisconsin, across portions of the UP, the upper peninsula of Michigan there, into northern portions of Michigan, and all the way back up into southeastern Canada, into Ontario and Quebec, Canada as well here this morning. Looking here across portions of the United States and all of North America, we definitely have the potential to see this ridge start to kind of drop over top of this trough that we've been seeing the last couple of days, and we're going to see warmer than normal temperatures as we close out the month of September and move into October, and that will be found with much above normal temperatures here across entirety of the Canadian prairies, and then getting up into the upper Midwest and Great Lakes here, replacing that trough. Another strong trough will dig down across the northeastern Pacific Ocean. We'll have to watch here. That could be our next big storm system getting closer to the west coast, but that should still stay offshore as we head into late this weekend and early next week. So looking at your temperatures nationwide across the United States here this afternoon on your Thursday, September 29th, we got widespread 60s and upper 50s across portions of the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the New England region as well. Places off to the west across the Great Plains, getting back into the Rockies, we have widespread temperatures there in the 80s to near 90 degrees, especially as you get down here into central and northwestern Texas. We, of course, got the drier heat across portions of the Phoenix area, back toward Los Angeles and Death Valley, California as well. And then as we get into that Friday time frame here tomorrow, we'll have a little bit cooler of temperatures across the middle of the country with more widespread pleasant temperatures in the 80s and some lower 90s there as well. Again, some 60s across the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, and the Great Lakes as we get into the last day of September. Looking longer range into that first full week or so of October here, from October 4th through the 8th time frame, that ridge will remain off the western United States with above normal temperatures there in the red shaded colors. Off to the east, we have a little bit of a trough here with the remnants of Tropical Storm Ian remaining off the east coast there across portions of the northeast, getting down to the eastern seaboard with some cooler than normal temperatures during that time. But that ridge will slowly slide its way from west to east across the middle of the country with above normal temperatures spiking across north and central Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and northern Louisiana, especially as we get into that Thursday, October 6th through Wednesday, October 12th time frame, and most of the country will actually be influenced by this ridge of high pressure as we get towards the middle of October, so that will be something to keep an eye on. And looking at the jet stream, this is what we kind of like to look at to see where the active weather will be, and looking here towards the end of this week, toward the very end of September, the active jet stream will be across the Aleutian Islands all the way up into central and northern Canada, so really no big storm systems here to talk about, in exception to Tropical Storm Ian across the southeast. But as we move here into the first couple of days in October, we'll start to see that jet stream here remain to the north, but a trough digging down across the northeastern Pacific we'll have to watch during that time. And even as we get towards that, 5th time frame, the October 5th here on Wednesday, October 5th there, we could be talking about a trough digging down across the upper Great Lakes and towards the Ohio Valley, potentially bringing some rainfall to portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and maybe even Ontario, Canada, as we get towards that first week in October. So we'll continue to watch that. But overall, it looks like a drier than normal pattern will persist as we get here into the first few days, all the way through the first week of October through October 8th there, with drier than normal conditions, especially across the Gulf Coast coast area into Florida, and even up here into portions of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and New England as well. We might have an enhanced area of precipitation across the desert Southwest, across Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and portions there of New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle as well, with some monsoonal moisture bringing here its way up to the north across western Mexico into the southwestern United States during that time. Even as we head through October 12th, again, a drier than normal pattern will persist across much of the eastern and central portion of the country, with the western half of the country toward the west coast and the Pacific Northwest, especially into Nevada, getting down into western Utah, northern Arizona. We could be talking about some above normal precipitation possible, if not likely there, with another trough and storm system digging down across those areas during that time. Looking at the updated here U.S. drought monitor from last week, you can see a lot of severe, extreme, and exceptional drought does remain across much of the areas west of the Mississippi River. We still have some drought across the I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City in the northeast, but largely the most concentrated areas of drought will be across the western United States, where we have all those red shaded colors and those maroon reds. That is extreme and exceptional drought, the worst of drought categories. And again, with this dry pattern persisting, I expect this drought to expand. And looking at the U.S. seasonal drought outlook here, going all the way to the very end of this year to December 31st, it does look like some of the drought will start to fill back in across Texas, across the Mid-South, the Missouri Valley, and the Ozarks, all the way back into the front range of the Rockies. So again, this drought will be around, and it will be around for a prolonged period of time still as we head through the rest of this year, probably in some of these areas into Texas, Arkansas, and the Missouri Ozarks and parts of the West, getting back into drought towards the end of the year here in October, November, and December, so that will definitely be something to keep an eye on. Well, thank you guys so much for watching my video here this morning. Definitely appreciate all my viewers out there. Remember to like my video down below by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely appreciate all the new subscribers out there, and hit that notification bell to get notified of my live streams and my videos in the future, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great Thursday out there, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video.